Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Tanya and today we are starting a new playlist on OOPS concept. This playlist will cover all important topics like classes and objects, member variable and member functions, static variable, constructor, static constructor, and important four key pillars of OOPS like encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism. In today's session, we are focusing on class object, member variable, member function, static variable, and static function. So let's go ahead and get started. What are classes and what are objects? Basically, classes are user-defined blueprint or prototype for creating an object. Classes are something which defines how an object will look like, what performance can object do. So it's like we are fixing what behavior an object should do, what function an object should do. But on in all, classes does not take any memory. Uh, while running your application, class doesn't take any memory. But when you create an object of the class, actually this memory gets allocated, right? Then classes have fields and methods defined into a single unit, which object later on can access. An object in C# is a runtime instance of a class. That means it actually exists. Object takes some memory and it actually exists. An object holds data and behavior defined in the class, right? Then what are member variables and member functions? Member function is a function that is defined within the class definition, like how I told you. While creating a class, you define some behavior, how object should behave. So those behaviors are actually defined using member functions. Member functions can be accessed using the instance of the class, that is object. Then member functions are accessible to all the object of the classes. A class member variable is defined within the class definition and accessible to all the objects of the class. Okay. We'll see a proper application. We'll run the application and we'll see how these are working. Okay, then we have a static variable and static function. Static dictionary meaning is only one instance of a given variable exists for a class, right? A class, so basically if you are defining a static variable, that is available for all the objects, right? If you have created a class and you have defined 10 different objects, every object will allocate their own memory, and in that memory they will have their own variables and a memory, right? But static is just one variable which can be accessed by all the object. Every object does not have a dedicated memory allocated for static variable. So that is a static. Basically, if you're changing the variable value, static variable value, that will affect all the other objects also. And this static variable and static functions can be accessed using class name directly. It does not need object. So static variable or function can be accessed using class name without creating the object. Okay, I've created a basic console application to show you how class and object work together, and what are static variables, what are static functions. So we have a class called car here. This class is the blueprint of a car. So basically, this car will have the number of doors. It has a color. It has an engine. Okay. Then it it can display the car property. It can drive, and we can apply brake. So these are the functions which a car can do. These are the properties which car has. Okay. This is the blueprint. Now, if I am creating a car, then I have to follow all these prototype which this class has defined. Okay. How will you do that? It can be done using objects. This is a class. Now I am creating the object. This object, my car, it can be created using new keyword, new car. This statement means please allocate the memory according to this car class. So this car has these properties like int, string. So whatever memory it requires, this new keyword says that create or allocate the memory according to the need of this car class and assign it to the variable my car through which we can access all the. This is my object. Now my object has come into existence. I have created my object. The memory is allocated. Okay. Now I am accessing my variables. I can put any number in this, right? If I want to put 6 different doors, I can make it 6, right? Number of doors should be 6 or number of doors can be 4. I can put it according to my need. I have created my car. I have given the color of my car as black. Engine is Honda City engine. And then I am calling this function display car property, which will display my car property. I can drive, I can apply brake, right? Similarly, I can create another object at the same time. My car and your car, both, oh, I'm sorry. I think by mistake, I just copy pasted it here. Let me put it back. Okay, your car. Now this is a different object, okay? So now your car can have any different number of doors. You can provide 6, I can provide 4. So this is a different instance. Now again, the new keyword will say allocate the memory according to car class and I put it inside your car. This is a different object. It has its own variable, right? This variable and this variable, these are the copies of two different object. Every object will have their own copy of variables. So now this is your car's variable. This is your car color. This is your car engine. So I have put white and BMW engine. Okay, and then I am displaying and applying brake. At the same time, these two different objects exist. If you are accessing, if you will try to print the color of my car, it will come as black. If you are trying to display your car color, it will come as white. Okay, so let's run and check. Okay, one more thing. In this car class, I have put two different static members. One is the static counter and this is my static function. Now, as I told you while showing the PPT, that this static means only one copy, right? Here we have different copies. Number of door for my car is different, number of door for your car is different. But this static is going to be same for all the objects. And because it is same for all the objects, it does not need to be accessed using object. We can access it directly using the name of the class. Okay, so what I've done here is just ignore this. Let me remove it. Yes. Okay, so here what are we doing? We are calling this counter increment. This is a function. We are calling it using the name of the class and not the object. Okay, and this counter increment is going to increase the counter value, which was 0 before, so it will be 1. Okay, and then we will display it here to check what is the value. Okay, and then again I'm calling this counter increment. So last time when we called this, it made it as 1. Next time we are calling it because now entire application, whenever you are calling this this function, this will increment the value by 1, whatever was the last value. Okay, so here it will become 2 and now here it will print as 2. Again, here we are not calling this counter increment and we are just printing the value of this counter. It will come again as 2 because we have not incremented now. So let's see how it is working. So first we'll run this and see. So here we have put a breakpoint. Okay, um, come inside. Okay, you can see, right, the counter value is 1 and number of doors is 4, color of the car is black, engine the car is using is Honda engine. So here when we called everything, we set the value here and we called display car property. This display car property has printed this value, and then we have called drive method. So the car is moving. Next I'll enter it. Enter. Now the car is stopped. Okay, because we have provided brake. Again the counter is increased because we are calling the counter increment. Let me put the breakpoint here also so that you can see next time how it is working. Okay, so now counter is increased here, so the value, now the counter value is 2. Okay, again we have created a new car object, and we have provided all the values. Then this display car property is called, and now the car is stopped. It has printed all the property here again. The car is stopped, and we again enter. The counter value is 2. Okay, so what happened here? First it called counter increment, and the counter value was 0. It became 1. So when we are printing here this counter value, it is printed as 1. Next we created the object my car. We provided the value. Number of doors is 4, color is black, engine is Honda engine, and then we called display car property. Once we called the display car property, it displayed all the property value which we have set. Okay, then we called drive, the car is moving. Brake, the car is stopped. Again we called this counter increment, it became 2, and we printed the value, so counter value is 2. Again we created a new object, your car, and it has same property but different values. So when you print the value, it will become 4 white and BMW engine. And then again the car is moving because we called drive. Car is stopped because we called brake method. And then again we are just printing the counter variable without incrementing it. So previously it was 2, again it has become 2. I hope it is clear now what is the difference between the static and instance variable. Okay, instances has their own copy. Instance variables uh, are separate from one object to another, right? Every object has their own copy of variables, instance variables. But static is same for entire application. It does not depend on object, it depends on the class name, and we can call it directly using the class name. If you have any question, please put it inside the comment section and I will clear it as soon as possible. And thank you for watching. Keep learning, and I will be creating more videos on OOPS concept. So stay tuned. Thank you so much.